So yes, you can spend a few days in Lisbon and then make it down here, but I always suggest if you're really thinking about moving here to just come right down to the Algarve and spend as much time as you can in a home base. Hi, I'm Glenda Cole. Welcome to my beautiful villa on the southern coast of Portugal in the Algarve. That's what they call the entire southern coast of Portugal. We're about 20 minutes west in the western Algarve of one of my favorite places on earth, Lagos. We're going to take a tour of that today, but first, let me show you where we're at on the map. Here's a map of the entire southern coast, the Algarve in Portugal. And it's thought of in three ways. We talk about this area, which is right adjacent to Spain there, as the eastern Algarve. And there's the central Algarve, where the airport is in Faro. And then moving over, you come to the western Algarve. And today, we're going to go on a tour of Lagos. Here's the map of Lagos on our tour today. We're going to come in on the main drag here. Past the marina. Going to come in on this road and I will show you, we're going to visit a number of beautiful places, phenomenal restaurants in the old town, some beautiful squares, and then we're going to, I'll give you a little parking tip before we get there. That parking is right here. And then I'll also take you to a little bit on the outskirts. We're going to go to the Mercado Santo Amaro, the local market where the locals shop for seafood and produce. And we're going to come out here and go along this road to Ponta de Piedad. In my opinion, one of the most gorgeous cliff walks I've ever seen. So let's start with some breakfast. Good morning and welcome to Lagos. This is one of my favorite walks, the walk along the water right in the center of town. To the right is the main drag coming into town, and to my left is the marina. And if I turn around, try to do this a little slowly, you'll see that this walk ends, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. If you walk to the end, just past the Sepsa, you'll see kind of a hidden secret. It's called Munich. It's a German restaurant. If you're into schnitzel, they serve some phenomenal schnitzel for dinner. But what most people don't know is that Munich also serves terrific breakfasts. Everything I've had there has been scrumptious, but my particular favorite is the vanilla French toast rolls. There's a fabulous breakfast morning to start off your day. Check out Zircon on the right before you get into the old town. Great women's clothing. All right, we're just passing the taxi stand on the right in downtown Lagos, right across from the water. We're coming up to your first local tip. It's the underground parking lot. It's right on the outskirts of the old town. Perfect place. It'll keep your car cool when it's blazing hot outside. And remember to take your ticket when you go in and keep it with you. When you come back, you'll pay as you enter the parking lot on your way back. Another fabulous breakfast option is goji. It's in the old town. It's tiny. If the lines are too long, there's a place next door called Sweet Temptations, which is also very good. But goji makes the most, again, French toast. It's fabulous. I'm starting to see a theme. I love French toast, but it is worth the decadent morning. One of my favorite squares in Lagos has this stunning tiled building. Absolutely love it. There's in a season where these trees turn purple for about a month, and it is something else. But even more important, one of my favorite kitchen stores is in this square. Let's go in. This is Casa Caravela, a beautiful kitchen store. I bought a ton of things here. Check it out. One of my favorite things to do is to buy something like a gadget for the kitchen, like a cutting board or a little kitchen utensil that you use all the time. And then when you use it, you can say, oh look, that's that thing we got when we were in Lagos. Don't miss the shop at Caravela while you're here. Now here's a terrific spot for lunch in the old town, pie. You can make your own, you choose what you want. I'll tell you what, the chicken pot pie, if you love pot pie, try it out. Okay, another wonderful option, lunch or dinner, is Casa del Bread. in the old town. We're right next to the cultural center, so you might want to check if you're here, see if they have anything great happening there. This is a place for tapas, and they are wonderful here. I would suggest the beet hummus and the mustard steak bites, and they also have an amazing rooftop bar. One of the things I love about Portugal and Lagos, Lisbon, are the beautiful street calçadas, these tiles are called. There are patterns everywhere, and as you walk along the main drag coming into town, there are all sorts of interesting sea creatures patterns further on. It's just, the whole town is covered in art. It's beautiful. All you can eat sushi, unbelievable but true, for lunch or dinner. I think lunch is under 12 euros and dinner's around 13 if I'm not mistaken. And it's good. Try the prawns, fabulous. And if you need your hair done while you're here in Lagos, Victor Picardo hairstyling group, and this is the lovely Larissa. Say hi, Larissa. Hi. She's marvelous with hair. Come and visit Larissa at Victor Picardo. This is a wonderful dinner option, a very lovely white tablecloth. It is called artistas. And every time we've eaten here, amazing. There's a 3-course tasting menu for dinner for 40 euros. We're headed to the marina now. Stop here if you want to stock up on wine, liquor, or beer for home. We're at the marina in Lagos. Terrific assortment of restaurants. On the upper level, you have Portofino's, one of my favorites for Italian. A friend of ours, a British friend who worked a lot in Italy, says they have the best bologneses ever tasted. It's very good. Here's an absolutely wonderful local restaurant, Restaurant da Mena. If you come here at lunch, it's packed with locals because they have a plate of the day, usually about 5 menu choices or 6. Delicious, and it's 3 courses for about $12 US. Comes with a starter, main course, dessert, and of course wine. Unbelievable, incredible food. If you see on the daily special the seafood rice or the black scabbard, best whitefish I've ever eaten, give them a try. This is Boa Vista, a beautiful golf course right in Lagos, the top of the hill. It is a huge development. I'm only showing you a tiny piece. There are lots of apartments and townhouses for rent. I rented here in the winter a couple of times while I was looking for a home. The Brits love this place. There's a nice clubhouse with a beautiful view if you want to stop in for a drink or coffee. Very fun place, and I understand, although I'm not a golfer, that it's very good golfing. Here's a local tip, the Mercado de Santo Amaro. It is where the locals shop for fish and produce in town. There's a beautiful fish market on the waterfront, kind of touristy. If you want to see a stunning produce market and a lot of fun people selling fish, this is the local place to do it. If you're a tennis player, this is one of the 3 tennis clubs that my boyfriend Glenn plays in. This is his favorite. We've also got paddle. And if you're a tennis player and you want to play, you can stop in the clubhouse and ask for contact of the local expat lady that runs the teams, and she will hook you up. You can drop in and play a match or 2. We've seen a professional tournament here as well. It's a beautiful place, right in the middle of Lagos. Here's a local tip. As you pull into a roundabout, you'll oftentimes see signs like this in Lagos. They will direct you which way to go in the roundabout to go to all the local grocery stores. So I just discovered this new place the other night, Asian Fusion, they bill it, the Blue Whale. It is on the way to Ponte Piedad, and I had some red Thai curry that was delicious the other night. One of my favorite restaurants here is O Camilo. I was calling it O Camilo for a long time. And it is right on the water on the way to Ponte Piedad. You might want to have a beach experience. There are a lot of steps down to O Camilo Beach, and then have lunch here. The views are incredible, and the octopus is just as delightful. We're at one of my favorite places on the entire planet, Ponte Piedad. This is where, after I finished walking the beautiful boardwalk along the cliffs, when I was here the first winter, I called my best friend back in the States, choked up, and said, I feel like the barnacles are breaking off of my soul. It is a beautiful, uplifting experience. Imagine walking this several times a week. It's incredible. And I have a local tip for you. So, if you go to the lighthouse, which is at the very point, the Ponte Piedad, you can go to the left and you'll walk down about a zillion steps. And in the little grotto at the bottom, there are guys in fishing boats. So when you're in the marina, you'll see these massive boats and they'll all want to sell you these great tours. The issue is the big boats can't get inside all these little rock formations along the coast, which you're about to see some of them. This coastline is just filled with incredible rock formations. The little teeny boats can get in and out of them. It's an amazing way to see it. So if you go down those steps, back here is Lagos and the beach. You go down those steps, you can get in a little fishing boat for about 10, 12 euros, and they'll take you in a phenomenal little local tour. Now, another tip, if you go to the right of the lighthouse, there's a very long boardwalk, maybe half an hour walk, that'll take you all along the coast. I do that walk quite often. It's absolutely beautiful.
Wow, that was a whirlwind tour. I wanted to give you a last tip. When you arrive, pick up the Portugal Resident. It is a weekly paper. I must disclose, I write for them now, a column each month. However, before I wrote for them, I picked this up religiously every Thursday because they have in the back this What's On section. And it's got everything happening in the Algarve, from all the fun, crazy events like sausage festivals and orange festivals, really fun things to attend, to the markets, the farmers markets that are happening every week, exhibitions. Oftentimes the Cultural Center in Lagos will list what they've got going on in art displays. And then also worship. They've got English speaking sermons in all kinds of churches around the Algarve. And finally, they have this music and dance section. So Lagos is always prominently featured throughout the What's On section because there's so much going on here. So last little local tip, pick up the Portugal Resident.
Back home again after that crazy tour of Lagos. I wanted to, hopefully that has convinced you that that's a terrific place to visit or to make your home base for a scouting trip of the Algarve. I wanted to give you a few tips that I use to find a flight here. So yes, you can spend a few days in Lisbon and then make it down here, but I always suggest if you're really thinking about moving here to just come right down to the Algarve and spend as much time as you can in a home base. And to do that, you need to fly to Faro, the airport in Faro, Faro, and rent a car. So my tips on flying here. I usually check 4 airports if I'm coming from the States. London, Charles de Gaulle in Paris, I check Lisbon, of course, and I typically check Amsterdam. Sometimes you can get great deals, especially off-season, to those airports. Of course, check flying all the way through to Faro, but then if you just fly to one of those 4 destinations, and then check Ryanair, which is the local European cheap carrier, you can oftentimes if you can get a real deal to one of those 4, you can often get a very cheap flight down to Faro. Once you're in Faro, my tip there is rental cars. Yes, you need a rental car to zip around the Algarve. Very easy driving. The roads are terrific here. Driving on the right-hand side for us is simple, and lots of roundabouts. Very easy. You don't need any special license. When you're a tourist, you can come here and just, if you happen to get stopped, you can show them your American driver's license or Canadian. And the tip there is carjet.com. I rented for months before I bought a car here, and that was by far the cheapest rental site I could find, especially in the off-season. Great prices on cars. So, having said how you get here, having said rent a car, now you're headed over to Lagos, where are you going to stay?
I want to share a few websites with you to help you identify a place to stay in Lagos. First, Vrbo. Kind of like the Airbnb of Europe, Airbnb has some, but Vrbo has many more short-term listings, so check them out. If you'd like to stay in my place, this is it, Vista Esplendida off of Lush Villa Rentals Management Company. It is only available in July and August, but please, I think you'll love it as much as I do. Now, if you're looking for something longer term, we're talking a month possibly, I've rented from both of these companies. Lagos Long Lets is one. I stayed in a couple of beautiful properties, 2 different winters with them. And then Cool Houses Algarve. I actually rented this property on their homepage. Boy, it was amazing. Finally, if you're looking for very long term, we're talking a year or more, idealista.pt is a terrific website. You can draw a map, all of the places will pop up with prices, of course, you see by euros, but Idealista both for rent or if you're looking to buy,
spent a lot of hours falling down this rabbit hole. It's a terrific way to explore.